welcome to a Moviescramble podcast interview special. Today I'm having a chat with Jonas Chernick and Jeremy Lalonde, who were at the Glasgow Film Festival to promote their film James versus His Future Self. The first voice you will hear is Jonas, followed quickly on by Jeremy Lalonde. The pair have a lot to say about their film and the conversation is very, very interesting. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm going to keep it simple. 12 years from now, you figure out how to send me back in time. I am you from the future. I'm from the future! You're from the future! Not you, me, you. We are from the future!
Okay, that's good! Thank you for your interest in the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Didn't know anything about it, obviously, before the festival.
Right. Well, there's so many films at the festival.
Some 230, 240 films, so which is not bad for a festival in Glasgow.
Oh, it's great. It's very well programmed.
I think it's like the third biggest in the UK, which obviously the UK is not a massive market in terms of film festivals, but it's still pretty good.
But just they have a great presence. Just walking around the town, you feel like you know the festival's on.
Yeah.
Or, you go to some other festivals and it's like, do people in town know that? Like, you go to a restaurant and you're like, oh, you guys here? You guys from out of town? You're here? Well, we're here at the festival. Like, there's a festival? It's like, there's a festival. Whereas like every restaurant I've been in, there's a poster in the door.
Yeah, it's very well, it's extremely well organized, well publicized. The hospitality, they take really good care of the filmmakers here.
Have you ever been to Sitges?
No.
The Sitges Film Festival, that is
haven't been there yet.
Excellent. It's like the whole town almost becomes a film festival for a week and a half. It's really good. I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a genre fest, I think.
Sudbury's like that too.
Yeah, we have some in Canada that are like that.
To be fair, your film would probably have fitted in quite nicely because it is sort of a Fantastic Fest kind of idea, but they branch out and they are like comedy. Obviously, there's a wee sci-fi element in your film as well.
We've been programmed at a few really great genre festivals. We never really targeted that. That wasn't something for but could have fit in nicely. But we're happy to have our European premiere here in Glasgow.
Yeah, well, of course. Beautiful city, and for one of the days out of the year it's not actually raining. So
we got lucky.
We got really lucky.
The last 2 days, we got here yesterday.
You definitely did get lucky.
The forecast was not this. By the way. I've been checking the forecast every day for a month. I'm like,
don't do that.
No, it's best not to.
I agree.
We tend not to.
Well, even like Glasgow's an island, or it's on an island, so it's like the weather changes.
Oh yeah. Apparently I think it's half of the year it rains at least once a day. So So you get used to it. You get wet.
Yeah, but it's also more of a drizzly as opposed to like a downpour.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not quite as bad as that. Let's face it. So, film began. You two at I believe it's a premiere you were at for your previous film, 2016, and brought the ideas together from there.
Yeah, well, Jonas and I have known each other we met in 2012, I want to say, around there. We both had sex comedies at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, and even though we were from Toronto, we met in California the first time. And so from there, we kind of got to know each other as like actor-filmmaker, but also writers. And so we'd share scripts back and forth over the years. And then he was in my previous film, How to Plan an Orgy in a Small Town. And then
great title, right?
Absolutely.
You want to see that movie?
You don't forget that title on a hundred. Let's face it.
Yeah. I think it's on iTunes in the UK, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Thanks, buddy. So when the time came for this, what I knew is I wanted to do something in this realm. I wanted to do something sci-fi-y, time travel-y, potentially. And Jonas and I were sitting down, and I said, "Do you have any ideas?" Because I also wanted to collaborate with Jonas, and he had one idea.
Yeah, I had one idea, and it happened to be a sci-fi idea, and it was really just the nucleus of this. It was a man goes to battle against himself from the future.
Yeah.
And I always thought of it as like kind of an odd couple. Sort of, they're the same person, but they're totally different. Mm-hmm. Maybe a roommate. I wasn't sure whether roommates or I knew one of them, the older version, was going to try and steal the girlfriend. This is how it started.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Really vague idea, and we just kind of ran with it. Jeremy was like, "Oh, let's flush that out," and then over the course of 2 or 3 years, we developed this script.
So you were collaborating on the script, you were sort of going back and forth. Do you work together or do you work separately?
We never stood over the same computer and typed.
Yeah.
We would
get together to talk about big picture stuff.
Story sessions where we'd break the story and try to figure out what it would look like, and then we'd go off and one of us would write a draft and then send it and do notes, and then maybe one of us would rewrite it, and back and forth like that for a while. And then at a certain point, right when we started to get into production, I stepped away as the writer and said, from this point on, I need to put on my actor hat. So you are now the writer. Changes, you will make all changes, and I'm happy to consult, but I have to think about this now as an actor, which worked really well.
Obviously, when you say you moved on to the actor part, in the film you are on screen for, 96% of the film. I think there's only 2 scenes where you're not actually front and centre.
Yeah, I guess so.
So obviously the pressure is on you to deliver more than anybody else
We don't
in terms
screw it
of.
up, Jonas.
It's too late. I already fucked it up.
Oh no.
So, that's what I was going to say. Was there a certain amount of pressure on you, because obviously you had the background in that you were part of the writing process, the development process, but then obviously you're front and centre and you're basically having to carry this film in terms of the acting.
No pressure, because we cast Daniel Stern, and
As long as he's in half the movie.
and we put all the pressure on him to deliver. We gave him the best part, and I put the pressure on him to deliver. But honestly, I didn't feel pressure for a few reasons. Number one, my greatest joy in this world is acting. So when I'm on set and I have a great character and great words to speak, I'm in my happy place. It's hard to feel pressure in that environment. Secondly, you got to trust the director. I trust this man with my life, and I feel completely confident that if I'm not delivering something, or if a moment's not working, he will not move on until we've got it. That's incredibly comforting, and it allows me to relax into it. And the third thing is that, having written the character and been with the character for 2-3 years, he's in my bones. Like, the character there's some discovery involved, but for the most part, I'm just relaxed into it. I've been with this character for a long time. I understand this character as well as an actor can. Most actors come on board and they read a script and they're playing that character, within a number of weeks or days.
Yeah.
But in this case, I've been with the character for long enough. So, didn't feel the pressure. Maybe I should have.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Like, this is the first time I pre-sold the film. We are wonderful producers did this amazing job of pre-selling the film in some areas before we even before our first day of shooting. And for me, like, there's a bit of pressure there where I'm like, oh shit, people are gonna watch this for sure. We're normally it's like, let's make a film and hopefully it sells after. But then I think it all goes away because it just becomes about the day-to-day work, and it's like, are we serving the story? And I think that's where Jonas is the leading man, someone who is, he's carrying the film on his back. But it's like, he doesn't think about that because he's just trying to serve the story and serve the character and the greater piece. And so I think the reason why he probably doesn't feel the pressure is because he's given himself away from that, and he's just there to be what this movie needs at the moment, which is like the best thing you can get as a director, as an actor who is just present and there to play. And there to just like find stuff.
What he said.
Sounds very good.
Yeah,
doesn't
it's good.
it?
Yeah, I'll get that.
In terms of obviously your collaboration, you're known from what I've read previously about being an actor's director.
Oh,
It sounds very flattering and everything.
It is very flattering.
So what does that mean in terms of your process towards actors?
I think what it means is that I don't give bad notes. I mean, I think it's just that I understand enough about acting to know that they have a process. I know different actors have different processes, and it's not about me trying to get a specific thing out of an actor, but about trying to find a real moment, the truth of the situation, and giving them the freedom to find it, but also like knowing when to step in and give little cues and little help, but not to dictate a performance, because I don't believe in that. I worked with one actor who's a great actor once who was just like, I just want to get it right, and I told him, I was like, there's no such thing as getting it right. We're just trying to find stuff.
Yeah.
And if it's different every time, that's okay. It's like, but I don't believe you can get it right. I believe you can find things, and sometimes it's about, sometimes it's hard, I think, for an actor to do all the the levels the scene requires in a single take. And so in my brain I'm also an editor, so it's like I know what moments I need. So as we're going through takes, we'll do a take in this vein, knowing that I'm going to use this part of this take for this, but then I need a different ramp up for something else. And some actors, they can do that whole thing and they can go through a big long scene and be able to get to all those places in one. But if you can't, then it's about breaking it down with them and finding those moments individually. And that doesn't mean the actor is better or worse. It's just some different actors work differently. And so your job as a director, I think, is to figure out how your actors work and how to best work with them so you can serve their vessel.
Yep. Okay.
You know, and there's no good or bad thing about it. It's just knowing that everyone works differently, and how do you work with each individual actor and not treat all actors the same way, because you can't.
No, different beasts entirely. How does that work with yourself then? Obviously, you've worked with Germany. Sorry, that's a terrible slip. On a couple of occasions now. But how does his approach differ to approaches that you've had with other directors and other projects? Is it all in is it a very individual thing depending on the project, or is there almost like a type of director that you have? There is the sort of the more actors director, there's more sort of director that sort of stands back more and deals with sort of the overall picture, and the actors are just part of that.
Yes.
So
yes, that there's a range.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum. and
Sometimes literally.
So a
he
little
is on the
cruel.
spectrum.
Yes, yeah.
No, and my favorite directors are the ones who aren't intimidated by actors, who know how to talk to actors. And a lot of directors, and even good directors, don't really know how to talk to actors and are comfortable talking to actors. For me, the best collaborations are directors who are not afraid to get in there and talk to the actors, who have a very specific vision. They know what they want, but at the same time they're open to this discovery process that Jeremy's talking about. That's the sweet spot for an actor. You want a director, you want to feel like your director knows what he's doing, has the big picture in mind, but also is open to change and trying new things and experimenting. And I also find that I've worked with the same director several times. A number of directors I've worked with multiple times. And I like to do that. I feel like the better a director knows me, and not just me as an actor, but me.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes, the more trusting I am, and the better they're able. Like Jeremy knows my tricks. He knows my shortcuts. He knows when I'm being lazy as an actor, and he can respectfully and tactfully, point that out or gear me away from it. And that's what I need. That's what I want. It's ideal for me. I don't have to do all the work. I can let him do a lot of the heavy lifting, and I can just be.
Yeah. But to speak to that too, is just like, I think the best relationship a director and actor can have with each other is they both trust each other.
Yeah.
So I can trust you to walk. I think to give it a metaphor, I want to create an environment where my actors feel safe on the tightrope, because I'm the net that will catch them. And they don't have to look down, they don't have to worry that it's there. And it's like they can just they can try something more dangerous that that maybe is uncomfortable for them, but that, we're not going to use it if it's bad, but also that might inspire something new. We're not scared to try different things, even though I might have something specific in my mind. I want to know what they're going to bring to it, because that's why they're there.
Yeah. Okay. So continuity within sort of cast and crew is very important to you then, because it creates a sort of a shortcut then. Sure,
shortcut. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. Is a shortcut. Well, you just know each other and you know your tricks, and you kind of know what you can push to. And I find that I think one thing that I get the actors director comment too is because I put the time in getting to know the actors. And so I'll know there's part of their personalities that I haven't seen on screen yet, but I can get out of them in a performance. I think a lot of times people have seen my stuff that certain actors have been in, and they're like, I've never seen that side of that
actor do that before.
Or that side of them, and I'm like, that's because you've never seen them. Like you've never seen them be who they are in an authentic way. And so for me, it's about trying to find something authentic and trying to find something interesting. And I've been lucky that I've had to be able to spend the time to get to know so many great actors that they've given me that gift of themselves to be able to be comfortable to put themselves on screen in a way that, you know, even though we make comedies, like, I think you still want to find the truth of something, and being able to tap into the human being's essence is like the greatest playground ever.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, it's a comedy, but there are elements in it where it's
got to be rooted in something.
There's some real sort of like sort of dramatic elements to it, and some quite sort of hard sort of truths in there as well about not fulfilling the promise of a relationship and things like that as well. So yeah, it's nice that you can encapsulate that in a comedy. It works very well in this case. I really thought it was very good that way. You've used the same composers on a couple of occasions as well. Now there's two composers in this. Did they work together, or were they doing separate pieces?
Yeah, so Ian and Steve, who are amazing, and they were just nominated for two Canadian Academy Awards, one for original score and the original song which plays at the beginning of the movie. This is the second time I've worked with them. They also did my previous film, The Go-Getters. They're magic. I'm a very amateur musician myself, and so what was really amazing about working with those two guys is they're guys that they come with. It's very similar to the relationship of working with an actor and any creative person. I find a lot of these relationships are very similar. Where I want to kind of see what they bring to the table. And I'll throw in a little bit. I think like the note I gave them, it was like we wanted it to have, especially that opening song. I was like, I kind of gave them the only note I gave them off the top was like, I'd love to be there. Like, what if Brian Wilson did the score for Blade Runner? This is kind of the note I gave them, and they were like, I was like, do that.
I mean, it's incredibly specific, but it sounds incredibly difficult.
Yeah. And to their credit, they kind of came up with.
Oh, they nailed it.
They nailed it, yeah. I think. And so, but what was fun is like they've got this great little studio in Toronto, and I would be able to pop by at night or whatever, and you know, I'm the kind of person that can jump on an instrument and be able to like, hey, I love what you're doing here. What if you like just, and I'll do a very bad version of it, and add this kind of thing to it, and they'll riff on that and make it better. Or like in the opening song, we were playing with this thing, and I was like, what if there's like, and I go woo woo, and then Ian's recording me, and then just being able to play with them was really nice. I don't want to give myself any credit for that, but it's like it's just more like it's very much like working with an actor where it's like you got to go in and you got to play and you got to challenge each other, but they're also like two guys that are incredibly hard on themselves, and they'll do something and we'll listen to it, like this is incredible, and they're like, nah, I hate it, I can do better. And it's like to work with people that are just like wanting to constantly outdo themselves is such a great gift as well.
How early in the process do these guys come in? Did you have them, for instance, did they see the script so they can get an idea of it?
Yeah, because I worked with them before, I knew I wanted to work with them on this as well. They read the script. It wasn't like they have any major notes like that, but they can start thinking about themes and just like sounds and stuff. But we brought them in, I think they saw like the first cut of the film, just to give them a sense of it. And I had some temp score in there, which I'm kind of, I put in because I think like your test audiences need it, but I almost wish I could strip it out with the composers, because it's the same as like, I don't want to give an actor a note before they do a scene for the first time, because I want to see what they're going to bring to it, and I don't want like my bad initial thoughts to cloud them. But I also tell the composer, I'm like, when you listen to the temp score, know what's in there for like an audience. It's written in sand. If I'm over here doing something red and you come in going, actually I think this song is green, do that. Like go in the opposite direction I'm going. Go by your instincts. I really, really respond to like, and that's the same with an actor. It's like just because the scene is written dramatically, try playing for comedy. Maybe it'll play better. Like let's try different things. Don't like I'm willing to throw away my bad first idea in the risk of trying to find something unique and new too, right? That's not
you always hear about directors falling in love with the temp score, and when it comes to it, they basically ask the composers to do something that sounds
mimic
and,
it.
That it's not exactly like that, but it has that certain feeling, and there's very famous occasions like Stanley Kubrick, for instance, who liked his temp music for 2001 so much he just used that rather than the scores written for it. So I take it you can separate yourself from that quite easily because you know it's just part of the process?
He can, but to his great credit, there was one song he put a pop song, Sheryl Crow song in the middle of the film that plays from beginning to end over like a key sequence.
Yep.
He used it as a temp track, and when myself and the other producer in the film, Jordan Walker, when we watched the first cut, we were both in tears, and we turned to each other and said, like, we have to get that song. That was the only piece of music I think that remained from the first cut.
He says, to my credit, it's the producer's credit for getting the song. It's easy for me to like put in an amazing iconic pop song, but on a low budget indie film, it's like it's the producer's.
But a song like that by notable artists wasn't. But a song like that, where lyrically, musically,
everything,
thematically, tonally, it just 10 out of 10 on every category. That's a skill. That is a skill. Like, I know you've been wanting to use that song, but I mean, that was...
that song, I've been wanting to use that song for 15 years. So it was like perfect time, perfect place. And then we got lucky in a couple of... I think the only thing else that there's a couple of songs... No, I think that's probably the one that from the original, like...
But we ended up building the set, so we licensed...
There was that. I want to give you the other one.
Okay, go ahead.
So the only other thing I think that survived from my original, like, scoring of using stuff... Although we did our own version of it, was the one bottle of pop during the brother and sister drinking montage.
Yeah.
I put it in thinking everyone's going to give me a note saying they hate this.
And we like that.
Everyone loved it, and so our Ian and Steve, we redid it, and actually the people singing that song are his wife, me, and our kids.
Yeah, we got our.
song.
And that was Ian, our composer's idea.
Yeah.
Was let's definitely use one bottle of pop, but let's get some kids in. So his son. Your kids, my kids, they all got into the studio and sang it.
Nice,
So
that's
it's
really
really
nice,
fun.
yeah. That's excellent. Obviously I haven't touched on your supporting actors yet.
Touch them.
Yeah, please touch them. Appropriately.
I was interested in the way you introduced the two of them in very sort of different ways. Daniel Stern was introduced in a way that it was almost like an action scene, if you like falling into the dumpster and all that sort of stuff. But it didn't give very much away about his character. It was sort of the bare minimum, obviously, so that could be developed. But Frances's introduction was just spectacular because within one very short scene, you got exactly what she was like, and that didn't change throughout. I thought that was really good. Was that a deliberate thing on your part that you wanted to kind of introduce them in different ways? Because you could have introduced Daniel's older James character in pretty much the same way as well. Like, there you go, this is a character, just in one short scene.
I think it's intentional as far as with the introduction of Jimmy, Daniel Stern's character. We wanted an element of mystery.
Yeah.
We want the audience leaning forward and going, who is this guy? What's the deal here? What's the relationship? What's the backstory? Whereas with Dr. Rowley, played by Frances Conroy, it's the opposite. You don't have a lot of time with that character. You want to really establish who she is immediately. Yep. And so I think that opening monologue and the way people respond to her is very telling of the character. But we also have to give credit to the actors. Frances Conroy, she just knocked it out of the park. And as much as we will take credit for writing that bit, she elevated it to a whole nother level. So you do feel like you get that character right away, and that has as much to do with what she brought to the table.
Yeah, because it's amazing because she shows up and then she's not in the movie for another half an hour.
That's right.
Yeah, there was one more scene that we just trimmed out just so we didn't need it, and she's in shortly after that. But it's just her doing more of the... I just watched it the other day and I was like, oh, it's such a fun scene, but you don't need it. But it's just like, I miss it in the movie just because she's so great in it. But yeah, that's just the luck of like having an amazing actor. That's just the luck of working with incredibly talented actors who can create these memorable characters in seconds.
Obviously you've got James and you've got Jimmy, two characters, and I like the way that you just said at the beginning, this is how it is. You didn't explain time travel, you just said, it works.
Yeah.
Which put it out of the way, and that kind of built your world for you, because then that was just there, so therefore you could use that to explain the differences between James and Jimmy, as in he's taller, he doesn't speak the same. But did you actually spend a bit of time working with Daniel, because obviously there's a lot of small touches in there, that certain things that you do that he kind of mirrors, and it's very kind of subtle ways, just like sort of movement and things like that, and the way they react. So there is stuff in there, but how much time do you actually spend with him doing that?
So there was a period where I thought I was going to do a Daniel Stern impression for my character. So
Yep.
we were watching while we were in prep for the movie. We were roommates, and every night we would watch a different Daniel Stern movie.
Yep.
And I would take notes on how he speaks and how he moves. And I was very excited about this. And Jeremy was kind of watching me from the sofa, from the couch, and thinking. And eventually he said, "It's great that you've been doing all that research. Now throw it all away." Because this isn't about mimicry. This isn't about, you guys are different people. That's the point.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that and felt like this was the way to go. And so I think what you're looking at and what you've noticed very astutely is mostly Jeremy figuring out visually how he was going to mirror us. And the physical stuff, very subtle, very little things. We're all collaborative. We all kind of came up with that in prep.
Yeah, and I think if I wanted anyone to do an impression of anyone, I wanted to go the other way. I wanted it to be Daniel finding little moments where you see James sneak out. Like when he first sees Courtney for the first time and he becomes a bit blubbery and nervous, Daniel has that great moment. That's one of my favorite moments of his in the film, where he's just like kind of off his game for a bit. You know, it's just little stuff like that. But I think that was the trick, is the idea is like, this guy is someone different. And that's been one of like the real rewards of getting feedback on the film and reviews, that it kind of like let us know that nobody's bumped on that. And I think that was something we were very nervous about, with people buying that he's the older
I was
him.
especially nervous about that. I used to have paranoid worries that like that's going to be the downfall of the movie, that no one is going to buy that we're the same person. We haven't had literally not one person has come up against this. It just works. And
well, like you say, you set out early, so therefore you just accept it. Time travel spreads you, changes you.
Jeremy would always say to me, "Dude, our movie's called James versus Future Self. We're telling the audience before they're paying money to come in and watch a movie. They know it's about a guy and his future self. They already bought it. They literally bought it already."
There was a lovely wee touch right at the very end of the film where they're sitting in the cafe in Switzerland, and one of the versions of you actually has the beard and the white hair. I thought that was really good, because
Thank you for noticing that.
That just sort of calls back to the fact that he is so different, and it's like another version of him, if you like, that hasn't gone through the whole time travel experience, but he still looks like him. I thought that was particularly well done.
Thank you. Yeah, you're one of the few people. I think people get that, but we haven't talked about it.
Put a point on it like that.
The point is to kind of let the audience know that he doesn't become the Daniel version of Jimmy.
Yes.
We did have a 5-minute conversation at some point about whether or not that should be Daniel Stern in the cafe, and Jeremy, it was me questioning him, Jeremy going, "No, of course not.
Of course
he doesn't
not, because
become that guy."
Yeah, he doesn't go through the process
but the beard is,
yeah.
and that's also a little bit of, we have to credit Kat Crisp, who is our brilliant sort of hair and makeup coordinator, and, and Blake Arsenault. They worked together to kind of come up with those looks, and Jeremy, and I think that they did a good job.
Really did enjoy the film. I know you probably get quite a lot saying, "I loved the film." It was
no,
great, but
hey,
it was good.
Anytime you hear it is always nice.